What you're about to hear has never been revealed to Western media, the first-hand account of a woman who stood in Kim Jong-un's inner circle for 8 years, witnessing what few outsiders ever see. Park Seon-hwa protected the supreme leader's life while watching her own mother, unable to afford a single pill at the hospital. In November 2023, during a security detail in Singapore, she made a split-second decision that would cost her family everything but give her something. She'd never known the right to choose her own future. For more exclusive testimonies like this, subscribe and become part of our investigative community. These stories need to be heard. It all started like this. I was turning 20. Spring of 2015. I was born and raised in Pyongyang's JONG district. My father was a mid-level official at the party's central committee. My mother was a homemaker. We lived in an apartment complex overlooking the Taedong River. I still remember walking to school along the riverbank every morning. In winter, the river froze solid and turned white. In spring, willow branches sprouted new buds. Every fall, my mother made kimchi. I can still picture the neighborhood women gathering to salt cabbage and mix the seasoning. Seon-hui, come help your mother. She always called me that way. When the smell of kimchi filled the house, that meant fall had arrived. My younger sister Seonju would run away holding her nose, but I stayed by my mother's side to help. Our family had a decent life in Pyongyang. The rations didn't always come on time, but thanks to my father's position, we were better off than most. At the market, rice sometimes cost over 5,000 won per kilo, but we never went hungry. I loved sports from a young age. I was tall with good athletic ability, so I started taekwondo in middle school. My teachers praised me as a warrior fit to protect the supreme leader. I felt proud hearing that. My parents were thrilled. My father bragged everywhere. My daughter will do great things for our country. After high school, I entered Pyongyang Physical Education University in 2013. Only the elite could get in. I majored in taekwondo and shooting. Every day started at 6 a.m. with training, and didn't end until 8 p.m. when I returned to the dorm. It was tough, but I was young enough to handle it. In college, I won a gold medal at the National Taekwondo Championship. My shooting skills reached expert level. Professors noticed me. In my junior year, rumors spread that I'd been recommended as a candidate for a special mission. I didn't know the details, but I sensed it would be something significant. March 2015, a few months before graduation, the school suddenly called me in for a special test. Physical examination, shooting test, taekwondo demonstration, even ideological verification. I couldn't ask questions. I just followed orders. A few days later, the results came. I passed. Final selection. I still didn't know exactly what I'd been selected for. They only said it was the glorious mission of protecting the supreme leader up close. When I told my parents, my father's eyes welled up. My daughter, in that position. My mother gripped my hand. I'm so proud. My sister Seonju jumped around shouting, "Big sister's amazing!" That evening felt like a celebration. Neighbors came to congratulate us. My father even brought out precious liquor. I was 20 years old, fearless and confident. My future looked bright. I had no idea what life awaited me. No idea how that glorious mission would transform my youth. I couldn't have known. That's how I was selected, as one of Supreme Commander Kim Jong-un's personal female bodyguards, the youngest. 20 years old. First week of April 2015. They sent me to a secret training facility outside Pyongyang. I can't reveal the exact location, but even high-ranking officials couldn't access it freely. On arrival, I met 10 other women. All were exceptional talents selected from different regions. Over 165 centimeters tall. Athletic backgrounds. Ironclad ideology. Party member families. Everyone fit the criteria. Their faces showed tension, but their eyes shone with confidence. That day, I met Choi Young-kyung for the first time. Young-kyung was 30, the oldest among us. She'd worked security for 5 years already. 175 centimeters tall, muscular build, sharp eyes. Her first impression was intimidating. New recruits. Young-kyung looked us over, especially that young one. How old are you? I stepped forward. 20, comrade. 20? Eun-kyung smirked. You're just a kid. I can guess who your father is. My face burned. She meant I got selected because of my father's position. But I trusted my abilities. I earned this through skill, comrade. Skill? Eun-kyung laughed mockingly. Prove it during training, then. The training that started that day exceeded imagination. We woke at 5 a.m. for a 5-kilometer run. After breakfast came taekwondo, hand-to-hand combat, shooting, bomb disposal. One drill called VIP protection simulation had us practice shielding someone when gunfire erupted. They weren't real bullets, but the blanks made my heart race. Eun-kyung always watched me. She pointed out every tiny mistake without mercy. Too slow, sloppy form, losing focus. She was lenient with others, but strict with me alone. A month later came the first evaluation. They tested everything: combined combat, shooting, fitness, ideological verification. When results were announced, my name was called first. The youngest had ranked number 1 overall. That evening, Eun-kyung called me over. Congratulations on first place, Seon-hui. But her expression showed no congratulations. Training camp ranking doesn't guarantee field performance, though. Real skill gets proven next to the Supreme Commander. I didn't fully understand what she meant. I thought she was just a senior keeping a junior in check. 3 months later, field assignments were announced. Only 5 of 10 were selected. I was one of them. The youngest again. I called my parents with the news. Father, I made final selection. Good, my daughter. His voice trembled with emotion. Parents can only get you this far. From now on, you're on your own. Your mother must be proud too. My mother's voice came through. Seon-hui, but listen. Don't push yourself too hard. Your health matters most to me. I didn't understand what she meant then. It just sounded like normal motherly concern. July 2015. I was officially appointed as one of Kim Jong-un's female bodyguards. 20 years old. My colleagues ranged from 25 to 30. But I was the youngest. My first day on duty, black suit, sunglasses, standing beside the Supreme Commander's vehicle. My heart was pounding. Was this really happening? At 20 years old, standing right next to the Republic's highest authority. But that day, I realized something else. Eun-kyung's cold stare beside me. The invisible chains around my wrists. From that day forward, my 20s no longer belonged to me. Being a bodyguard was completely different from what I'd imagined. I wasn't an ordinary citizen, but I wasn't a free person either. In my early 20s, when my peers were dating and preparing for marriage, I worked 48-hour rotating shifts. Not only were outings forbidden, but my personal calls were monitored. Even seeing my family required permission once a month at most. When I turned 22, a letter arrived from a college friend. She was getting married. Same age, but I wasn't even allowed to date. I couldn't have private conversations with male colleagues. Going into Pyongyang to meet friends was nearly impossible. Seon-hui, are you happy? My sister Seonju asked during one visit. I couldn't answer. I'd never even thought about whether I was happy or unhappy. I just performed my duties, showed loyalty, followed orders. But what was really unbearable was something else. The gap between the reality I witnessed and the education I'd received. Working close to the Supreme Commander, I naturally saw life at the power core. Luxury goods from overseas, lavish banquets, abundant food. Once I saw a fruit platter filled with imported fruit. At Pyongyang market prices, it cost what an ordinary family lived on for a month. Meanwhile, passing through Pyongyang's outskirts showed different scenes. People lined up at ration centers, empty stores, darkened apartments without electricity. We'd learned our people are the happiest in the world. Was that really true? At 23, I went on my first overseas trip. Beijing, China. Through the hotel window, I saw the city's lights. Streets packed with cars, energetic people. We'd learned it was a fellow socialist country. Why was it so different? In the hotel elevator, I saw young Chinese people, about my age, smiling and taking photos with smartphones, wearing what they wanted, laughing freely, talking freely. I envied them terribly. Eun-kyung didn't miss my changing expression. Seon-hui, you look troubled lately. One day, Jung called me over. Having impure thoughts? No, comrade. You need to stay focused when overseas. Her voice lowered. That place is different from ours. Don't be swayed. Understand? Yes, comrade. But questions had already started growing in my mind. When I turned 25, news came that my mother was ill. I wanted to visit immediately, but my schedule made it impossible. After waiting a month, I finally got permission to go home. My mother had lost a lot of weight. No medicine available, she said quietly. Getting medicine from the hospital required bribes. My father's salary couldn't cover. I'll get it for you. No, Seonhui. She gripped my hand. You focus on your work. I'm fine. But she wasn't fine. While I guarded the highest authority, my mother couldn't get a single pill. That night I walked through Pyongyang. The streets were dark. Electricity wasn't flowing properly. In the distance, only the power plant chimney puffed white smoke. Your 20s only come once, I muttered to myself. What am I doing? My 5th year as a bodyguard. I was 25. Friends had married, had children, lived ordinary lives. But I still wore black suits and sunglasses, living under surveillance. Jung still kept me in check. If I broke any regulation, even slightly, she reported it immediately. Once I glanced at my phone in the bathroom during duty. She reported that too. Seonhui's discipline is lax. I received a warning from above. Live with more vigilance. I felt increasingly suffocated. Mid-20s, supposed to be my most beautiful years, and I was trapped. An invisible prison. Around that time, I thought for the first time, I can't live like this. I can't spend my entire 20s this way. But I knew too many secrets to dream of escape. July 2023. A letter arrived that would change my life. I was 28. 8 years as a bodyguard. That summer was exceptionally hot. Pyongyang's electricity situation had worsened. We couldn't even run air conditioning properly. The tropical nights continued. I couldn't sleep properly. It was family visitation day, allowed once a month. When I got home, my mother looked much older. Not even 60, but her hair had turned half white. My father was approaching retirement. My sister Seonju had married and even had a child, Seonhui. My mother spoke quietly. Come here. She led me to the bedroom. After closing the door tightly, she pulled a small envelope from deep in the closet. I thought long and hard about giving you this. Her hands were shaking. But I want you to live your own life. I took the letter. Nothing was written on the envelope. When my mother nodded, I carefully opened it. The letter was short, but those few lines completely changed my life. Seonhui, I want you to be happy. I want you to live the life you choose. We couldn't in our generation, but yours should be different. Your father feels the same deep down. Before you turn 30, choose your own life. I'll be okay. I read it again and again. Tears came. I understood exactly what my mother meant. Mother, my voice shook. What is this? I said nothing. She covered my mouth. I just gave you a letter. Understand? Tears welled in her eyes too. Born right after the Korean War, surviving poverty and hardship, living her whole life. Conforming to the system, my mother was urging her child to escape. What about you, mother? I've lived enough already. She gripped my hand. But you're only 28. Not even 30. Youth doesn't come back, Seonhui. That night, I couldn't go back. I walked along the Taedong River all night. The path I'd taken to school as a child. The willow trees still stood there. The river flowed quietly. Before 30, I muttered, can I start a new life before 30? But I was afraid. I knew too many secrets. I knew what would happen if my escape was discovered. I knew exactly what would happen to my family. Then the next day, something decisive happened. During duty, Jung called me. Seonhui, something's off about you lately. Your expression isn't normal. It's nothing, comrade. Are you? Jung stared into my eyes. Having impure thoughts? My heart sank. Had she noticed? Comrade, it's really nothing. Fine. I'll believe you, Jung spoke mockingly. But I'm warning you, I have sharp eyes. I can see what people are thinking, especially kids like you. After that, Jung's surveillance intensified. She seemed to watch my every move. Phone calls got censored more frequently. Permission to go out became harder to get. But that only strengthened my resolve. I can't live like this. I have to escape before turning 30. In August, I started preparing carefully. I checked overseas trip schedules. The next one was November, Singapore. Kim Jong-un's Southeast Asia tour was planned. If it's Singapore, I thought, it might be possible there. Every night I took out my mother's letter and read it. Before you turn 30, choose your own life. I was 28. A year and a half until 30. This might be my last chance. In September, the trip was confirmed. November 21st for 1 week in Singapore. A security team of 15 would go, including Kyung, of course. 3 months, I thought. I have 3 months to make a perfect plan. But guilt washed over me. My parents, my sister, my niece. What would happen to them when I left? They'd obviously be punished under guilt by association. One night, I secretly called home. My mother answered. Mother, my voice choked. Are you really okay with this? Yes, Seon-hui. She sounded like she was crying, too. I'm okay. You just need to live well. That's all I want. I'm sorry, Mother. Don't be sorry, she said. This is your choice. I'm not forcing you. You know that? After hanging up, I cried for a long time. Abandoning the parents who raised me for 28 years felt unbearably painful. But I made my decision. In November, in Singapore, I would choose freedom. November 21st, 2023. I boarded the plane to Singapore. 15 security team members came along. The Supreme Commander's private jet. Even on the plane, I couldn't relax. Everyone was monitoring everyone else. Kyung sat right next to me, watching me the entire time. Your first Singapore trip? Kyung asked. Yes, comrade. Stay sharp. Her voice lowered. Southeast Asia hides many traitors to our republic. If anyone tries to contact you, report it immediately. Yes, comrade. The plane landed at Singapore Changi Airport. 5 p.m. The view from the window was overwhelming. Skyscrapers pierced the sky. Roads were packed with cars. Palm trees lined the streets. Everything looked clean and organized. The hotel was near Marina Bay Sands, a 50-story luxury hotel. I got my room assignment 8th floor. Kyung was on the 9th. At least we weren't on the same floor. Tomorrow morning, 6 a.m. lobby assembly. The team leader ordered, "Don't leave the hotel before then." Understood? Yes! As soon as I entered my room, I reviewed my plan. Tomorrow morning had official schedules. From 3 to 5 p.m. was free 2 hours. That's when I'd slip out of the hotel and head to the South Korean embassy. According to my internet research, it was 20 minutes by taxi. I couldn't sleep all night. Singapore's nightscape showed through the window. Countless lights twinkling. Thinking about people living freely under those lights brought tears. Mother, I prayed silently, please help me do this right. The next day at 3 p.m., my chance came. Colleagues were resting in their rooms. I quietly opened my door and stepped into the hallway. My heart was pounding. Should I take the elevator or stairs? After hesitating, I chose stairs. I didn't know who I might encounter in the elevator. Down from the 8th floor to the 1st. My legs trembled. When I reached the 1st floor lobby, I saw hotel staff and guests. I walked normally, but terror shook me inside. Just a little more, I thought. The front door's just ahead. Then it happened. Seon-hui, a voice called from behind. Kyung. My heart stopped. I turned slowly. Kyung sat on a lobby sofa, like she'd been waiting for me. Where are you going? Kyung asked. I just came down to the lobby for a moment. I answered as calmly as possible. Really? Kyung stood and walked toward me. I was bored, too. Want to grab coffee together? I have. A headache. I was going back to rest. A headache? Kyung stared straight into my eyes. Do you have medicine? I can give you some. I'm fine. Then let's go up together. Kyung grabbed my arm. I was about to go up anyway. I couldn't escape. We rode the elevator to the 8th floor together. At my door, Kyung spoke. Seon-hui, you've been acting strange. Her voice was cold. You're hiding something, aren't you? No, comrade. Fine. I'll believe you. Kyung patted my shoulder. But I'm warning you, this isn't the Republic. You need to be careful. Got it? Yes, comrade. I went into my room, locked the door, and collapsed. Cold sweat covered my body. Did she notice? Does Kyung suspect? But I couldn't give up. Tomorrow was my last chance. The next afternoon, I tried again, this time during lunch. While everyone ate at the hotel restaurant, I said I was going to the bathroom. I left the bathroom and headed straight for the lobby. I scanned for Jung. Thankfully, she wasn't visible. I walked out the front door. Singapore's hot sun poured down. I ran to the taxi stand. One taxi was waiting. "Please," I said in trembling English, "take me to South Korean embassy." The driver nodded. I got in. The taxi pulled away. I looked back. The hotel was getting farther away. No one was chasing me yet. "Please," I prayed. "Please let me get there safely." 20 minutes felt like eternity. The street scenes didn't register. I just stared ahead. "We're here," the driver said. I got out. The Taguki flag appeared before me. The South Korean embassy. I ran to the entrance. A guard stepped forward. "Please help me," I shouted in English. "I'm from North Korea. I want to defect." Then I added in Korean, "I'm from North Korea. Please help me." A car screeched to a stop behind me. I turned. Our security team vehicle, Eun-kyung, was getting out. "Get back here right now," Eun-kyung shouted. But I ran into the embassy. The guard opened the door. I rushed inside. The door closed. I collapsed on the floor. My whole body shook. I'd left North Korea after 28 years. Just like that. The moment I entered the embassy, I collapsed to the floor. My legs gave out. I couldn't stand. "Are you okay?" Korean words. A male staff member approached. "Let's get you somewhere safe." He led me to a room inside the embassy building, a small conference room. He sat me down and brought water. "Take your time," the staff member said. "You're safe now." "You're from North Korea?" "Yes." My voice trembled. I was. Kim Jong-un's bodyguard. His expression hardened. "A bodyguard? You mean a personal bodyguard?" "Yes. For 8 years. Wait here. I'll report this to my superiors." The staff member left. I was alone. Suddenly, everything felt real. I really escaped. I'm not North Korean anymore. But guilt rushed in simultaneously. My parents, my sister, my niece. What was happening to them now? The State Security Department must have arrested them immediately. They'd be punished under guilt by association. Mother. Tears came. "I'm sorry, Mother." How much time passed? The door opened. A middle-aged man in a suit entered. "I'm the consul at this embassy." He sat down. "First, you made a brave decision. I'll need to ask some questions now." The interview began. My identity, career, escape details, information I knew. They asked everything in detail. I answered honestly. "No reason to hide anything. North Korean authorities will contact us soon," the consul said. "They'll demand your repatriation. But don't worry. We'll coordinate with Singapore's government to get you to South Korea." "How long will that take?" "A few days to a week. It's diplomatically complex." That night I slept in a small room inside the embassy. Actually, I tried to sleep, but couldn't. Singapore's lights showed through the window. What are my parents doing now? I wondered. Is Mother crying? The next morning, the consul came. The North Korean embassy contacted us. His expression was serious. "They're demanding your return. And they're threatening your family. They say if you don't return, your family will be punished." My heart shattered. I'd known this, but hearing it was unbearable. "Should I go back?" "Absolutely not." The consul spoke firmly. "If you return, you'll be executed too. Especially as a bodyguard, you know too much." He was right. I knew too much. That made me more dangerous. On the third day, more shocking news arrived. North Korea sent someone, the consul said, demanding to speak with you. "Who?" "Someone named Choi Eun-kyung." "She was your colleague?" "Eun-kyung." Hearing that name froze my entire body. "You can refuse the call," the consul said. "But the North Korean side says they'll give you news about your family." I hesitated, but I wanted to hear about my family. "I'll take the call." I picked up the phone. A familiar voice came through. "Seon-hui," Eun-kyung's voice. "How have you been?" "What did I tell you?" Eun-kyung spoke mockingly. "That you were hiding something. My eyes don't lie. What do you want, comrade? Come back." Her voice lowered. "If you return now, you can be forgiven. Just say it was a momentary mistake. Your parents and sister will be safe." "Stop lying," I answered. "I know what happens if I go back." "Then what about your family?" Eun-kyung shouted. Do you know how much your mother is crying? Do you know what interrogation your father is going through at the party? Tears came, but I held them back. That? My throat tightened. I can't help that. Mother. Mother told me to live my own life. What? Eun-kyung sounded confused. I'm 28, comrade, I said. Not even 30. I want to live my own life, too. Freely. Seon-hui, you. Eun-kyung's voice shook. I didn't think you'd actually do this. I'll be punished because of you. You know that? I'm sorry, comrade. Sorry? Eun-kyung laughed. A bitter laugh. Fine. You win. Go live freely then. But you'll live with guilt forever. The call ended. I cried for a long time. Eun-kyung was right. I'll carry this guilt for life. No chance to say sorry to my parents, my sister, my niece. But I also knew this was the path I chose. The path my mother wanted for me. A week passed. Finally, the consul brought good news. Negotiations with Singapore's government are complete, he said. Tomorrow you can fly to South Korea on a special flight. Really? Yes. You're free now. Free. Hearing that word brought tears. It felt like the first time I'd heard it in 28 years. November 29th, 2023, I left Singapore. Embassy staff escorted me to the airport. Not a regular passenger plane, but a special flight. A plane sent by the South Korean government. In the car to the airport, I looked out the window. Singapore's streets, tall buildings, people walking freely. Just a week ago, I lived in a completely different world from them. But not anymore. Don't be nervous. The consul said, when you arrive in South Korea, the National Intelligence Service will meet you. They'll help with everything. Thank you, I said. You've helped me so much. Just doing what's right. The consul smiled. We're the same people. The same people. Those words touched my heart. For 28 years in North Korea, I'd learned South Koreans were the enemy. But now those enemies were helping me. We arrived at the airport. Not the regular terminal, but a VIP gate. They were being careful about North Korean agents. One last question. The consul asked, no regrets? I thought for a moment. Regrets? My heart breaks thinking about my parents, but still. No, I answered. No regrets. This is the path I chose. Well done. The consul offered his hand. I hope you find happiness in South Korea. I boarded the plane. Business class seating. The most comfortable seat I'd ever experienced. The flight attendant smiled. Welcome. Have a comfortable flight. I sat by the window and fastened my seatbelt. The plane started moving. It rolled down the runway, then slowly lifted. Singapore grew smaller outside the window. We rose above the clouds. A sea of white clouds spread out. It's really over now, I thought. My ties to North Korea are completely severed. Tears came. Tears of joy or sorrow, I couldn't tell. Probably both. The plane reached cruising altitude. A flight attendant brought drinks. What would you like? Water. Please. Drinking water, I wondered. What is Mother doing now? Is my sister safe? What punishment is Father receiving from the party? Mother, I called silently. I'll live well. You'd be happy seeing me live freely, right? 5 hours passed. An announcement came. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be landing at Incheon International Airport soon. Incheon, South Korea, the land of freedom. My heart raced. We were finally arriving. For the first time in 28 years, landing where I chose to be. The plane landed. The wheels touched the runway. Tears burst out. I tried to hold them back, but couldn't. Are you okay? The attendant beside me asked with concern. Yes, I wiped my tears. I'm fine. Just so happy. The plane came to a complete stop. I unbuckled my seatbelt. I stood and looked out the window. Incheon Airport's lights. This is South Korea, I thought. I'm finally here. I got off the plane. Not through immigration, but a special passage. People in suits were waiting. Are you Park Seon-hui? A man asked. Yes. National Intelligence Service. Welcome. He offered his hand. You're safe now. Welcome to South Korea. South Korea. I never knew those words could feel so warm. We left the airport and got in a car. It was night, but the roads were bright. Streetlights illuminated the streets. Countless cars drove past. First time in South Korea? The NIS officer asked. Yes. You'll be surprised. It's completely different from North Korea. Take your time adjusting. The car sped down the highway. The scenes outside amazed me. 24-hour convenience stores, bright apartment complexes, colorful signs. Do people from the same country really live like this? I wondered. People speaking the same language can live so differently. After about an hour, the car stopped at a building. Where is this? I asked. Temporary housing, the officer explained. Investigation starts tomorrow. It'll take several days. After that, you'll go to Hanawon. Hanawon? Where defectors receive settlement education. You'll get about 3 months of training to adapt to South Korean society. We entered the building. A small but clean room was ready. Bed, desk, closet, bathroom fully equipped. Rest well today, the officer said. I'll come back tomorrow at 7 a.m. I was alone. I sat on the bed and looked around. Could this really be my place? I opened the window. Car sounds came from outside. People walking freely, music playing somewhere. Freedom, I thought. This is freedom. That night, for the first time in 28 years, I slept peacefully. Not monitored, not afraid, just ordinary. In my dream, I saw my mother. She was smiling. Well done, Seon-hui. Well done. December 2023. I entered Hanawon. Hanawon is a defector settlement support facility in Anseong, Gyeonggi Province, a place for 3 months of training to adapt to South Korean society. North Korean defectors like me lived and learned together. On orientation day, I was shocked. Each person had their own computer in the classroom, and internet was freely available. Everyone, you can use the internet freely now, the teacher said. You can search for North Korean news, watch YouTube. That night, I searched for North Korean news online for the first time. My hands shook. I searched Kim Jong-un, and countless articles appeared. All kinds of critical articles about the man I'd guarded. I'm really in a free place. It hit me. Life at Hanawon was one surprise after another. 24-hour convenience stores existed. Lights stayed bright late into the night. Stores overflowed with goods. Everything differed from North Korea. The food especially shocked me. The first weekend, I went to a nearby mart with classmates. Display cases were packed with all kinds of food. Fruit, meat, vegetables, bread, snacks. It seemed 100 times more than North Korean markets. Can we buy all this? I asked. Of course. A classmate laughed. If you have money. That sounded strange. In North Korea, money couldn't buy many things, even if you had it. At Hanawon, we also learned Korean. Same language, but different accents. We used yeyo more than imnida. Lots of foreign words, too. Everyone has a smartphone, right? The teacher asked. I raised my hand. Teacher, what's a smartphone? The class looked surprised. Understandably, someone who guarded Kim Jong-un didn't know what a smartphone was. Ah, I see. The teacher understood. In North Korea, ordinary people can't use smartphones. Here, everyone has one. That day I received my first smartphone. Government support. Learning how to use it took a week. 28 years old and using a smartphone for the first time. Embarrassing, but unavoidable. I learned about Kakao Talk, sending messages and sharing photos. Amazing, unimaginable in North Korea. 3 months passed. Graduation ceremony came. March 2024. Time to really enter South Korean society. Seon-hui. My counselor called me. What do you want to do now? I thought for a moment. I'd only ever been a bodyguard, but now I could do what I wanted. I want to study, I answered. Go to university. Even though it's late, it's not late. The teacher smiled. You're not even 30. Start now. 30? This year I'd turn 30. In North Korea, I'd probably be treated as middle-aged. But here, they said I was still young. I left Hanawon and settled in Seoul. A small studio apartment supported by the government. Cramped but my own space. My first room in 28 years. While organizing, I thought of my mother. Where is she now? Is she safe? I missed her. But there was no way to contact her. Mother, I muttered, looking out the window. I'm living well. Freely. Just like you wanted. April 2024. I started preparing for university admission. I needed to take the GED. North Korean education wasn't recognized. Studying was hard. I'd spent my 20s on bodyguard duty, far from academics. But I didn't give up. Starting late just meant working harder. Studying at the library, I saw female college students my age, laughing freely, dating, drinking coffee, and chatting. I envied them. What if I'd lived like that at 20? But I had no regrets. I could start now. One day, a Hanawan classmate contacted me. Hui, there's a defector gathering. Want to come? At the gathering, various defectors attended. Different ages, different backgrounds, all working hard to settle in South Korea. I dream of reunification, a senior said. The day I can see my North Korean family again. Reunification. That word moved my heart. If reunification came, could I see my mother again? My sister? My niece? Me too, I said. My mother. Let me live like this. When reunification comes, I want to thank her. 2025 arrived. I turned 31. I got accepted to university. Social welfare department. I chose it to help defectors. First day of classes. Walking into the lecture hall, I trembled. Everyone looked over 10 years younger. But it was okay. I started late. But this was the path I chose. Now I live as a university student and defector human rights activist. I share my experiences and raise awareness about North Korean human rights. I especially mentor young defectors. Honey, isn't it hard? A junior defector asked. It's hard, I answered honestly. I still cry thinking about my family, but no regrets, because I have freedom. Freedom. That's what I chose. These days, I often think of the Taedong River, the path I walked to school as a child, my mother making kimchi, moments laughing with my family. If reunification comes someday, can I go back there? Can I see my mother again? I don't know. But there's hope. I'm 31 now. I started late, but I'm still young. More days to live lie ahead. In North Korea, I spent my 20s under surveillance. But here, I can live how I want. Study, work, dream, love. This is freedom. This is the life I chose. Mother, I'm living well. Freely. And I'll wait for the day of reunification, the day I see you again. When that day comes, I'll tell you. Thank you, Mother, for letting me live my own life.